Coach, you come off a sweep last week over Cameron, your first sweep in a while after kind of splitting a couple of series. Can you talk about how big that series sweep was?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you sweep a series, it's big, and obviously we go into every weekend, and that's kind of the goal. um, and to be able to do it on the road is always tough, and so I thought the guys showed a lot of resilience this weekend, a lot of fight. There were some tough ball games in there. We found a way to get the job done in all of them, and so we did a really good job all the way around. Obviously, we had a game where the offense was really good, and then we had some other games where we jumped out early and they found some solutions on the mound, and we had to, and they battled back and we had to hold on. And so, man, just a lot of good baseball this weekend. Proud of the guys for the work that they put in this week. Not just the work that we put in physically, but just the work that we put in, just on, where we're at as a team and trying to come together and play together. And I thought we were able to kind of display that this weekend. So really proud of the guys and where we're at, and just excited to keep moving forward this week.
Coach, last year you had one of your key outfielders kind of graduate. You had Justin Williams move on from the program. Brock Bearden's kind of stepped into that role. In this past weekend, he hit over 600 and reached base over on a 700 clip. Can you talk about how big he's taken on that? How big it was for him to take on that role and kind of what he's grown into?
Yeah, I mean, Brock's been a good player since he showed up. Last year, even when Jay Will was in there, Brock was kind of the third outfielder until he got hurt in the conference tournament, and so he didn't play at the end on that run just because because he was out, and so. And he's just tremendously talented. Strength, can hit for power, has speed. Brock's grown a lot as a player, matured a lot as a player, and just like everybody else, he's still got work to continue to do, but and nothing's standing in his way from being great, other than just himself at times, expecting a lot out of himself, and so. He's done a really good job of working on himself and putting himself in a good position with that, and he's just always great kid, great teammate, hard worker, super talented, and so I would say it's not unexpected that he's having the success that he's having. I think those are things that we definitely see in him, and so he keeps a tough schedule with his academics. He's got to miss practice some days. And it's easy for a lot of guys that are in that boat to maybe struggle a little bit to maintain their level of play, and he does a really good job of maintaining his grades, doing what he's got to do in his classes, finding a way to get his work done around his classes throughout the week, and being mentally locked in when he is there for practice. And so I'm just really glad he's here, really proud of him, and yeah, he's a big part of our success, and I think we'll continue to be moving forward.
There's a kind of a log jam up at the top of the Lone Star Conference baseball standings. You're tied at first with, I believe, 3 teams, and then you have some within one game. How big is this series heading into UT Permian Basin at home this week? And just kind of talk about the Lone Star Conference standings as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, every series is big. Obviously, from here on out, we're all really tight, and it looks a little different than it did last year, obviously. Where it was kind of us and Angelo that had run away with the top, and we were kind of fighting for 1 and 2. And you got a bunch of teams that still have a chance and are still in the fight. And so, if anything, I think that makes for good baseball down the stretch, and teams that are locked in and fighting for something. And we're just excited for it. I think good baseball is down the stretch is going to give us our best chance to be battle tested and prepared when it comes to the postseason. And so. Obviously we have goals and aspirations on winning the conference, and if we want to do that, we've got a tough road ahead of us, and we got to find a way to win every game we can. And the goal this weekend is to go out there and sweep, but we got to take care of Friday first before we worry about anything else. And so, we just got to take it a game at a time, do everything that we can to make sure we're prepared mentally and physically for what we have in front of us. We have our goals, but we just got to take care of what's right in front of us. And if we can continue to do that day after day and not look ahead too much, then we'll come out where we're supposed to, and at that point, just get into the postseason and find a way to make a run. And so it'll be exciting down the stretch to watch, and I'm sure as a fan it'll be exciting to watch. And I think it piques people's interest to pay attention to that race, and that's a positive thing for the Lone Star Conference, and that's a positive thing for baseball in our league. And so it's going to be fun down the stretch to watch how it all unfolds, and we're just excited that everything that we want is still in front of us.
Thank you, Coach. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.